In this last video of the stages of labor, we are going to talk about the last stage, which is transition. The final stage of labor before you push your baby out. So let's just get right into it. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a doula, a childbirth educator, and a mama of two. And I'm super passionate about helping others birth fearlessly. As you get around the 8 centimeter mark in dilation, you enter into what is called transition. So transition is the most intense part of labor. You dilate from 8 to 10 centimeters, you're already fully effaced from active labor, and contractions are coming every 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes less, lasting for 60 to 90 seconds, sometimes longer. Now, when I say that this is the most intense part, it's because this is when the hardest or thickest part of your cervix is dilating, and this is when you're going to probably need the most support. So some women get to this point in labor and have been able to do it by themselves really well, unmedicated. And there will be some women who say, I can't do this anymore, I need the epidural, this is too hard, because it gets so intense. Now, like I've said in previous videos, intense doesn't mean painful. So that's something I really want to point out. And if you have prepared your mind and your body to relax and release the tension and let your body just do what it's meant to do and work the brain over body kind of thing, then this might not be a painful experience. It could totally just be intense. It is typically at this point in time when mama feels exhaustion. So they've been laboring for a few hours or maybe almost close to a full day, and they just feel like they can't go on. This is often when it's great to have physical and emotional support. Specifically, emotional support is vital to help mama get through transition to welcome her baby. That emotional support can come from either your partner or your spouse or your boyfriend or whoever is there, or a doula if you hired one. Mama will most likely feel increased pressure and almost like an urge to go to the bathroom. And she may have increased bloody show. These are all totally normal things when you go through transition because, like we said, it is the most intense part of labor. Mama may be shaky, she may be cold, nauseated, or even vomiting, depending on how she responds to contractions. So what are some things that you can do, mama? First, if you are wanting to kind of speed things up a little bit, jumping on the toilet can be huge. We call it the dilation station for a reason, and it can be a really good place when you're really exhausted and fatigued to be able to sit down, take a rest, and still be having efficient, effective contractions. The toilet is also a great place because you are sitting. You can sit on the back or sit backwards on the toilet, so you're facing the little chamber or whatever, I don't know what you call it, where the water comes out of. You can sit and lean over that. It's a really good place to use your birth combs and, have that counter pressure, that acupressure on your hands to try and disrupt the nerve responses in your brain to take it off of the contractions and bring it to your hands. So the toilet's a really great place to do that. Because you're also sitting, the toilet is a great place if you are using laughing gas or nitrous oxide to hold that over your mouth and breathe in because you're in a stable seated position. Another one going off of the toilet is use the bathroom frequently. And by that, I mean empty your bladder. So because it is the most intense and baby is really gonna get low and there's gonna be a lot of pressure, making sure that your bladder is empty so baby has lots of space to move and is not getting blocked by the bladder is a great way to make this part of labor go a little bit faster and be a little bit less intense. Another one is to change positions frequently as your body allows. So in transition, it can be really hard to stay out of your brain and say, I can do this, I can do this. So by having someone there, whether that's your partner or your doula, to say, hey, Alex, how about we sit on the toilet for 5 minutes and we're gonna go through X number of contractions. And then when you're done that, we're gonna move and we're gonna go do some elevated leg lunges to try and get, that moving along. It can be really awesome to have that support during transition, because you're not necessarily going to be able to focus on what's happening or on what you can do the best. It's really great to have someone there saying, okay, mama, release the tension in your shoulders, release the tension in your face, take deep breaths. And doulas are really good at helping you breathe through that. So, change positions frequently. Now, this doesn't mean changing crazy positions, going from lunging to deep squatting to hanging upside down. Like, no. What I'm saying by this is, if you're sitting on the toilet, maybe your birth partner, if they're watching this with you, can bring over a stool to get one leg propped up. And you can do that for a couple of contractions and then switch to the other leg or lean forward on them or whatever. Just changing those positions to really help baby move down into the birth canal as transition continues. Another great thing is to focus on your brain. Transition is really the place where all of your mindset work gets tested. So if you have prepped your brain to trust that your body knows what it's doing, this is when you are going to be using that the most. Saying, I can do this. My body was meant for this. My baby is coming. I am doing fine. My body can do this. I trust my baby. Whatever it is that you have practiced saying, you will find it very effective in transition. It's also really awesome to have worked through those kind of mindset things with your birth partner or your doula so that they can be there and say, you can do this. Your baby is coming. This is the hardest part. You've got this. And to just keep saying those things to you, like release the tension, okay? Like breathe out tension, breathe in peace kind of thing, right? So this is a really good point in time to think about when you are wanting to prepare your brain for labor. Often there are people who find that they don't need to use the mental work as much in early labor or even the beginnings of active labor. But as active labor progresses and you hit that 8 centimeters and transition starts to change how labor is functioning, then is the big mind game. So being able to really work on that, this is the time to bring out those guns, bring them out blazing, and use all of the mindset work that you have done in your pregnancies. And another really great thing that you can do, mama, is remember that it becomes the most intense because baby is coming. This is typically the most intense part of labor. And that's because it is really the final contractions that are gonna bring baby down and ready to be pushed through the birth canal. So if you're watching this with your partner, which I encourage you to do, here are some things that you, birth partner, whether you're mama's husband or boyfriend or significant other or mom or whatever you are, here are some things that you can do, and I encourage you to look up before the big day comes. The first, counter pressure. Learn how to do the double hip squeeze. Learn how to do sacral counter pressure. Learn how to massage mama's body so that she is able to focus on releasing the tension in her body so that transition is not as intense as if she's doing it all by herself. Labor and birth is a labor of love, and it's great when the partner can be involved in this process. The next thing that you can do for mama is to make sure she stays hydrated. So if she is sitting on the toilet, bringing her water bottle with a flexible straw, not one that's going to stab her in the face, and saying, here, take a sip. here, take a sip. And try and maybe do that in between contractions. Don't try and give mom sips of water when she's contracting, or she might spit that water at your face, okay? But offering her water in between contractions to keep her hydrated is going to be very important. This is especially true if she's using hydrotherapy or is in the bathtub preparing for a water birth. Another thing you can do is encourage her. Tell her how great she's doing. Tell her how strong she is. Tell her how proud you are of her. Tell her how much you love her. All of the things that you could possibly tell her to encourage her through this, you need to be pulling it all out. Another one in that is if you feel scared, or if something is going on in your brain that you feel like you're not focused on her, tap out. If you have a doula, let your doula step in and be that, so you can take a break and come back ready to encourage her again. In labor, if you as the birth partner are stressed or worried or don't feel safe or don't trust mama's body, she's gonna pick up on that and she's gonna get really tense. So that's something we want to avoid at all costs. So if that's how you're feeling, take a step out, go take a deep breath of fresh air, go grab a snack, go drink some water, whatever it may be that you need to do in order to come back feeling ready to encourage her, focus on her, and not stress and worry. Another one that your birth partner, or you as the birth partner, can do is remind mama of her birth preferences list. So if she was really wanting to avoid an epidural and now she's saying, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, you can say, hey, say her name. I know this is so hard. And even though I don't know how hard this is, you have got this. You are so close. You know, like, encourage her to try and stick to her birth preferences. And honestly, the other thing you can do is ask her, do you really want it? Especially if the epidural is one that comes up. And say, hey, how about we try this other pain management option that you listed on your birth preferences list, whether that's lavender essential oil to calm her down, or nitrous oxide, or maybe some hip squeezes, or whatever it may be. Try and remind her of those before just saying, yep, give her the epidural. And then finally, I kind of touched on this a little bit in the encouraging her, but remind her and praise her for the hard work that she is doing. Labor is intense. Transition is intense, but it is the final part of labor before you push your baby out. And so this is a really great time to feel praised and encouraged and loved. And as mama, to hear those things is really important to being able to get through this and have a positive birth experience. If you loved this video, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video that I put out. And if you know a mama who might be interested in learning more about childbirth education, or maybe just will like my content, please feel free to share these videos. I create a new video every single Wednesday to share with you and to try and educate you to have the most empowered, fearless birth that you can have. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye!